Okay, so today we're going to mix the investment so that it goes around the leaves that we all went out and picked and put into the crucible here. But there are a few things that we need to do. We want to get a creamy consistency, so we want it to look like frosting on a cake. So there's a lot of lumps in it right now, so I'm stirring it up. Once I stir it up, I'm going to vibrate it on this machine to get as many air bubbles out as possible, and then we'll go from there. Then we'll put it in the kiln and we'll do a casting. So what I'm going to do first is place this on top, hold on to it, because if you don't, it's going to go flying. So we're going to let it vibrate, and while it's vibrating, if you look in the top, you see all these bubbles. And if we don't get rid of those air bubbles, they'll stick to the leaves and they'll make bubbles everywhere. Now, there are times when that will happen, no matter how careful we are, and it will add something to it. If there was one on the top of the leaf, it could be a water bubble or not, but most of the time we don't want them, so let's try to eliminate them. So this is just an extra step. Now when I've got that, I'm going to hold this on here and do similar situation. I'm going to just pour in slowly, and I'll watch the air bubbles all rise to the top. I always put in more than I actually need. So let it go almost over, and you can see all these little bubbles. All right. So it seems to be pretty steady now. I'm not seeing any more bubbles up, so I would say it's done. So now all we're going to do is take it, put it aside. It needs to set up, which will take probably at least 3 hours to harden. We would then put it in the kiln, and while it's in the kiln, we'll slowly raise the temperature, starting from 300 degrees, all the way up to a time we hit 1200, which should probably take about 4 hours. Okay? So now we've hit our temperature. I'm going to shut down the kiln. Very careful when I take the crucible out and take out the flask, that I put it into the machine, which I've already cranked that machine up 3 times. That gives enough pressure so that the metal will shoot inside. I have to take a wire though and tie it on. All right, so we've got that on there. I've also took the time to put silver in the crucible, in the kiln, so that I wouldn't have to spend a lot of time trying to get to temperature, because as you know, it takes a while to melt the silver. So now what we'll do is heat up the silver until it gets molten. Then I'll pull this down and we'll pull the lever and let it spin. This is all the buttons from previous castings as well as new metal. I've also cleaned the metal before. I put flux on it to make it clean. Always want to make sure you're wearing safety glasses. My glasses are safety glasses as well as prescription. And you also want to make sure, you notice I roll my sleeves up, so there's no way that I could get any burns. So I'm about ready now. So I'm going to do this. While that's in there, I'm going to pull the lever and let go. And what that's doing, it's centrifugal force causes the metal to shoot inside of the mold. The noise you hear is the wire rubbing on the board. We don't need this any longer. We can take that off. Now as soon as it stops going, we'll take it off. And we have to let it sit for a couple of minutes till the glow that's red goes down. So first thing, obviously, is cut the wire. and all looks good. It didn't blow the bottom off. There's a nice button in there, so we're going to let that red kind of change color. Once it gets down to a dull look, we're going to put it in cold water. And when it goes in the cold water, that's when everybody gets excited because of the noise, and everything disintegrates and leaves behind whatever organic material we cast. And what happens here, it's not coating the objects, it's actually replacing the inside. So when it goes in the kiln, it disintegrates. It's upside down and all the ash falls out, and then we're ready to put hot metal in. You can use brass, copper, bronze. Now there's your color. You can see it's dull. It's cooling. If you put it in too soon, it cracks the pieces. All right, so now we're going to put the crucible in the flask rather into the water. Again, don't let the plaster go down the drain. We put it in a separate tray. It's just about ready. So we put it in, it explodes. As it's exploding, all the investment is shooting out the sides and leaving us. Sometimes you like to just look and see there's some leaves sticking up so we can see it worked. That's the most important thing. So let's scoop it up. Once it's cool, you can see your leaves. Let me just rub. So here's what the leaves look like. And they all came out, which is awesome. And what we'll do is take the excess plaster out of there. You can each saw off the leaf of yours and then decide what you're going to do with it.